Chapter 1. Whispering Winds of Aerolith. In the floating city of Aerolith, the sky stretched out like an endless canvas, painted with the swift strokes of air traffic. Hovercrafts danced among the clouds while the grand spires of the city skyline reached for the stars, a testament to the galaxy's endless ambition. Perched on the edge of a sky platform was Aiden, his gaze lost in the bustling life of the city below. The weight of a tarnished silver locket in his hand tethered him to this vertiginous view, a relic of a world long vanished. Aiden's presence on the platform was no accident. A cryptic message from Lyra, an alien xenobiologist and his unlikely confidant, had summoned him. It hinted at a discovery potent enough to stir the dormant legacy of humanity. Aiden's fingers toyed with the locket, the cool metal a stark contrast to the warmth of the wind that murmured secrets of the old Earth. The neon lights of Aerolith bathed him in a spectral glow, casting long, quivering shadows that seemed to whisper of ancient Terran mysteries. The city, for all its technological splendor, could not drown the murmurs of the past that clung to the locket like an echo. A sudden blast shattered the serenity. A nearby tower, a beacon of interstellar trade, was engulfed in flames. The explosion was a violent reminder that the Terra Codex's secrets were a beacon to danger as much as they were to knowledge. The Neo-Terrans' fragile existence was threatened by the very past they yearned to connect with. The locket in Aiden's grip grew heavy, its weight a symbol of the burden of heritage that he carried. It was then that a shadow detached itself from the surrounding darkness, its form cloaked in ambiguity. "The Codex cult does not forgive those who delve too deep," a voice hissed, the figure vanishing as swiftly as it had appeared, leaving a chill that lingered longer than the mist. Before Aiden could process the encounter, his communicator crackled to life with a message that sent a jolt through him. Lyra's lab had been targeted, ransacked, the xenobiologist herself now missing. The pieces of the puzzle were aligning in a pattern that spelled out a stark warning. The Terra Codex was more than history. It was power, and in the wrong hands it could become a weapon. The city of Aerolith, with its blending of artificial wonders and natural beauty, seemed to hold its breath, a silent witness to the unfolding drama. It was a symbol of the harmony the galaxy aspired to, a harmony now under threat by the resurgence of its forgotten architects. Aiden's eyes mirrored the city's skyline, reflecting not just the neon, but also a history of loss and the smoldering embers of a hope to belong. In this galaxy of star travelers, ancient relics, and burgeoning conflicts, he was a bridge to a past that could either unite or fracture the expansive tapestry of life that had flourished in humanity's absence. As Aiden pocketed the locket and set off into the heart of Aerolith, the narrative question swirled around him like the wind. Who was behind the attack on Lyra's lab, and what lengths would they go to control the secrets of the Terra Codex? What answers did the ancient human artifact hold about Aiden's heritage? And how would the shadows of history shape the future of the galaxy? With each step, Aiden moved closer to the truth, and with each revelation, the stakes climbed higher. The city, for all its splendor, was a chessboard, and Aiden, with the locket and its secrets, had just become a pivotal piece. Chapter 2. The Shadows of Legacy. Under the luminescent glow of Aerolith's artificial stars, Aiden navigated the maze-like streets of the city, his mind racing with the implications of Lyra's disappearance. Each passerby seemed a specter of suspicion, each shadow a potential threat. The city, a nexus of interstellar commerce, was adept at concealing secrets beneath its vibrant facade. The locket's weight was a constant presence, a symbol of a legacy that could uplift or undo the intricate web of galactic civilization. It was a beacon of the past, casting long shadows over Aiden's path, the converging lines pointing toward the underbelly of Aerolith, the sprawling, neon-soaked district known as the Night Market. Aiden's arrival at the Night Market was met with a cacophony of haggling voices, exotic scents, and the pulsing rhythm of alien music. It was a place where the lawful and lawless intertwined, where every imaginable trade flourished in the open air or behind closed doors. His attention was drawn to a cluster of stalls, each adorned with artifacts as diverse as the galaxy's inhabitants. Aiden's trained eye scanned for anything out of place, anything that might hint at the forces seeking the Terra Codex power. Amongst the relics, he spotted a familiar insignia, a relic from the old Earth that seemed to pulsate with an unnatural aura. Before he could investigate, a firm hand clamped onto his shoulder, spinning him into the gaze of Rex, the grizzled veteran mercenary whose allegiance to coin was as renowned as his skill in battle. "You're a long way from the safe zone, Neo-Terran," Rex growled, his eyes narrowing with a mix of curiosity and caution. Aiden met Rex's gaze, seeing in the mercenary's eyes a reflection of the chaos that had become his reality. "I'm looking for Lyra," Aiden stated, his voice steady despite the uncertainty that gripped him. "She's in danger, and I believe someone here can tell me why." Rex's demeanor shifted, a flicker of concern breaching his hardened exterior. "Follow me," he said, leading Aiden deeper into the night market's heart. They navigated a labyrinth of stalls and patrons until they reached a secluded alcove. There, Rex introduced Aiden to an informant whose reputation for acquiring sensitive information was as enigmatic as her appearance. She was known simply as Shade, a being whose features seemed to shift with the play of light and shadow. Shade's eyes, the only constant in her swirling visage, fixed on Aiden. "The Terra Codex is the key, but not just to your human history," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of unspoken secrets. "It holds the power to alter the very fabric of life, and there are those who seek to weave it to their design." Aiden absorbed her words, the locket's presence a silent echo to her warning. "Who?" he demanded, his resolve hardening. "The collective's reach extends beyond the digital realm," Shade murmured, her gaze darting to the throng of market-goers. "And General Vark's ambition does not end at military conquest. Both view the Codex as a means to a greater end." The pieces began to fall into place, a mosaic of motives and machinations that had ensnared Lyra in its web. Aiden realized that the Neo-Terrans, unwitting inheritors of an ancient legacy, were pawns in a game that predated their emergence. As the meeting concluded, Rex turned to Aiden, a newfound respect etched into his weathered face. "I've fought for many causes," he said, "but something tells me this one might be worth the fight." Together, they emerged from the night market, their alliance sealed by a common purpose. Aiden, with Rex at his side, now faced a journey that would lead him through the shadowy fringes of the galaxy. The Terra Codex was more than a repository of knowledge. It was a beacon that could guide or mislead the path of evolution itself. Aiden's connection to the Codex was his heritage and his curse. As he stepped into the cool night of Aerolith, the locket around his neck was a silent testament to the power of the past and the shape of things to come. It was a reminder that the shadows of legacy were not easily escaped, and the choices he made now would resonate through the annals of the galaxy forever. Chapter 3: Echoes and Allies. Aiden's newfound alliance with Rex led them to the outskirts of Aerolith, where the city's gleaming towers gave way to the desolate stretches of the barren lands beyond. The contrast was stark, a reminder of the razor's edge upon which galactic society balanced between order and chaos. The wind howled across the desolate expanse, a mournful sound that seemed to carry with it the whispers of a bygone era. Aiden felt those whispers wrap around him, the voices of the ancient Terrans who had once looked upon stars that no longer shone. As they traversed the bleak terrain, Rex shared tales of his own battles, fought across the scattered stars, his voice a gruff melody to the wind's haunting chorus. "I've seen empires rise and fall," he said, his eyes reflecting the sorrow of loss. "But this Codex business, it's a different kind of war, one fought in the shadows of what once was." Their destination was a hidden enclave, a place where the threads of the Terra Codex's influence had woven a tapestry of silent rebellion against the forces seeking to exploit its power. The enclave was home to a collective of neo-Terrans and sympathetic aliens who believed that the Codex's secrets should be used for enlightenment, not domination. As they approached the enclave's concealed entrance, a voice called out from the shadows. "State your intent or be turned to dust," it declared, a hint of lethal promise in its tone. Rex stepped forward, his hand raised in a gesture of peace. "We come seeking wisdom and aid. We fight a common enemy," he stated. The voice materialized into a figure, the guardian of the enclave, a neo-Terran named Elara. Her eyes, bright with the knowledge of ages, appraised them with a discerning gaze. "Aiden," she addressed him directly, her voice softening. "Your arrival was foreseen, though its timing is more urgent than the stars foretold." The enclave welcomed them, its inhabitants a mosaic of species and stories, each one a thread in the greater narrative of the galaxy's fate. They gathered in the central chamber, where a holographic tapestry of the galaxy spun slowly, stars and planets represented by luminous threads. Elara addressed the assembly, her words painting a picture of the Terra Codex importance. "It is more than just a bridge to the past, it is a gateway to the future," she explained. "But in the wrong hands, it could be the end of the future we hope to build." The enclave buzzed with murmurs of concern and resolve. They were a faction on the fringe, but their determination was as potent as the might of any army. Aiden found himself at the heart of their planning, his connection to the Codex both a beacon of hope and a mark of destiny. It was decided that they needed to act, to secure the Codex before those who sought to control it could unleash their designs upon the galaxy. The plan was bold, a strike at the heart of General Vark's Stronghold, where it was believed the Codex's secrets were being unraveled. Aiden, with Rex and a carefully chosen team from the Enclave, would infiltrate the Stronghold and retrieve the Codex. As the Enclave's members dispersed to prepare, Aiden stood alone with Elara, the locket in his hand catching the light of the holographic galaxy. "This legacy," he began, his voice barely above a whisper, "is it a gift or a curse?" Elara placed a hand on his shoulder, her gaze deep and unwavering. "It is both," she said. "But what matters is what you choose to do with it. You are the echo of the past, Aiden, but also the voice of the future." With those words echoing in his mind, Aiden joined his team, their faces set with determination. As they set off into the darkness, the locket around Aiden's neck pulsed with a light that seemed to match the rhythm of his heartbeat, a reminder that the legacy he carried was alive, and its song was one of hope as much as it was of warning. The journey to General Vark's Stronghold would be fraught with peril, but Aiden and his allies carried with them the weight of history and the light of possible futures. The shadows cast by the locket's legacy were long, but they were not insurmountable. The next steps they took would shape the path of the galaxy, for better or for worse. Chapter 4. The Stronghold of Secrets. A network of stars stretched out over the horizon as Aiden and his team approached the Stronghold, a fortress carved from the bones of a dead mountain on a forgotten world. General Vark's Stronghold was a monolith to ambition, its silhouette a dark stain against the cosmos. Rex led the way, his familiarity with the art of infiltration an asset that could not be overstated. Beside him, Aiden moved with purpose, the locket's presence a constant reminder of the stakes at play. They were an echo of a past reaching out to shape the future, a future that hung in the balance as they neared the Stronghold's hidden entrance. The team comprised of experts from the Enclave, each skilled in various disciplines necessary for the mission's success. There was Kale, the cyberneticist, whose fingers danced across his datapad, disarming electronic safeguards with a deft touch. Beside him was Lissa, a psionic adept whose mind could weave confusion among their enemies. And there were others, each a vital piece in the intricate puzzle of the operation. The entrance gave way to a labyrinth of corridors, the air stale with the scent of metal and stone. Security was tight, with patrols of Vark's elite guards at every turn. But the team was a shadow, moving unseen, a silent storm ready to unleash its fury. They reached the heart of the Stronghold where the general was rumored to keep the Codex secrets under lock and key. The chamber was vast, the walls lined with ancient tomes and artifacts from 1,000 worlds, a library of dominion. At the center stood a pedestal, and upon it a device that pulsed with an inner light, the Codex Translator, a machine capable of deciphering the ancient texts of the Terra Codex. The team sprang into action, Kale and Lissa working in tandem to secure the room as Rex and Aiden approached the pedestal. But as they did, the room shuddered, an alarm wailing. A trap. General Vark appeared, flanked by his guards, his presence commanding and cold. "You think you are the first to try to steal my prize?" he sneered, his voice a deep rumble of contempt. "The Codex is mine, and with it, the galaxy." Aiden felt the locket burn against his skin, a reaction to the proximity of the translator. He stepped forward, his resolve hardening. "The Codex belongs to no one," he declared. "It's a legacy for all." A battle ensued, a clash of wills and weapons that echoed through the Stronghold's stone halls. Rex and the team held their own against Vark's forces, their determination a fiery counterpoint to the general's cold ambition. Amidst the chaos, Aiden's focus was singular. He moved towards the Codex Translator, the locket in his hand reaching out as if yearning to connect with the machine. And then, contact. The locket interfaced with the translator, and a surge of energy rippled through the room. Images and voices from the past flooded Aiden's consciousness, a torrent of knowledge and history that threatened to overwhelm him. But within the maelstrom of information, he found clarity, a message from the ancient Terrans, a plea for their descendants to forge a future of unity and peace. Vark, seeing his control slip away, charged at Aiden, but the general was met with the full force of Rex's fury, the mercenaries' loyalty to Aiden, and the cause they fought for unbreakable. With the Stronghold's defenses faltering, the team rallied, seizing the moment to secure the Codex Translator. Aiden, still reeling from the connection, understood what he needed to do. "The Codex doesn't just belong to the past," Aiden shouted over the din of battle, his voice carrying the weight of newfound purpose. "It's a guidepost for the future, and we must protect it, for everyone." As the Stronghold began to crumble around them, a symbol of Vark's faltering grip on power, Aiden and his team made their escape, the Codex Translator in their possession. The fortress that once stood as a bastion of one man's ambition now fell, a testament to the power of unity and the strength of a shared legacy. The battle for the Codex had been won, but the war for the future of the galaxy was just beginning. Aiden knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenge and peril. Yet, as he looked around at his companions, their faces lit with the fire of hope and determination, he felt the legacy of the Terra Codex within him, not as a burden, but as a promise of a dawn yet to come. As the first light of a new day broke over the horizon, Aiden and his team set their sights on the stars. The echoes of the past would guide them, and together they would forge a new chapter in the history of the galaxy. Their mission was clear, and their resolve unshakable. The journey ahead would be long, but they were ready to face it, united by a cause that transcended time itself. With the Terra Codex secrets slowly unveiling before them, they would navigate the treacherous currents of interstellar politics and power struggles. Aiden knew that the true test of their spirit lay ahead, where the decisions made would ripple through the ages. As their ship ascended into the celestial ocean, leaving the ruins of the Stronghold behind, Aiden held the locket close. Its glow was a beacon of the past, illuminating the path to a future where the echoes of ancient wisdom would resonate through a galaxy at peace. The chapter had ended, but their story was just beginning. Chapter 5: The Vanguard of Destiny. The dawn of a new day found Aiden and his allies speeding through the stars, the Codex translator secured within the bowels of their ship. The air was thick with anticipation, each team member aware that the real struggle lay ahead. Aiden, with the locket now an ever-present symbol of his connection to the ancient Terrans, felt the weight of history upon him. As the ship hummed through the void, Kale worked tirelessly to decipher the Codex with the translator, his eyes never leaving the screen. The data streamed in torrents, revealing secrets that had been lost to the ages. Each new discovery brought a mix of awe and fear. Awe at the depth of knowledge the Codex contained, fear of the consequences should it fall into the wrong hands. Rex, ever the vigilant guardian, kept a watchful eye on the ship's sensors. He knew that Vark's defeat at the Stronghold would not go unanswered. "We've stirred the nest of a very vengeful beast," he grumbled, his hand resting on the hilt of his blaster. Lissa sat in meditation, her psionic abilities reaching out like tendrils, sensing the ebb and flow of the crew's thoughts and the distant whisper of pursuit. "We are not alone in our quest," she murmured. "Shadows follow in our wake, threads of malice weaving a tapestry of pursuit." As the hours passed, the team assembled in the common area, where Kale was ready to unveil the fruits of his labor. The Codex translator, a mass of wires and crystal, projected a holographic display of an ancient galaxy map, a network of lines connecting stars that no longer burned bright in the sky. "The Codex speaks of convergence," Kale announced, his voice tinged with excitement. "A point in time and space where the paths of destiny can be altered. It's not just history, it's a map of potential futures." Aiden leaned closer, the locket pulsing in response to the Codex's revelations. "Convergence," he repeated, the word resonating with a sense of purpose he could not fully comprehend. "Is it a place or a moment?" "Both," Kale responded, his fingers dancing over the controls. "And it's approaching. The Codex suggests that the convergence is an event that can uphold or unravel the fabric of the galaxy. It's a fulcrum, and we are the lever." The revelation hit them with the force of a supernova. The stakes were higher than they had ever imagined. They were not just fighting to protect the Codex from those who would misuse it. They were racing against time to reach the convergence and ensure the future unfolded as it should. But as they plotted their course, the ship jolted, alarms blaring, a clear sign they had been found. Vark's forces, relentless in their pursuit, had caught up to them, a fleet emerging from the folds of space like a swarm of ravenous insects. "Battle stations!" Rex barked, the team springing into action. The ship's weapon systems came alive, and the serenity of the starlit void was shattered by the cacophony of battle. Aiden took his place at the navigation console, his hand steady despite the chaos. "We need to reach the convergence," he stated, his voice carrying the authority of one who had accepted his destiny. "It's not just our fight anymore. It's for all the potential tomorrows." Lissa's voice joined the fray, calm amidst the storm. I can feel the convergence. It's calling to us, a beacon in the dark. Follow my guidance, and we'll slip through their fingers." The ship danced through the onslaught, weaving a path through the enemy fleet. Kale's fingers worked frantically, bolstering their defenses, while Rex and the others returned fire with a ferocity born of desperation. The convergence drew closer, a point in space where the stars seemed to sing in harmony, a symphony of cosmic significance. Aiden felt the locket's pulse grow stronger, its cadence in sync with the rhythm of the universe. With a final, daring maneuver, they broke through the encircling forces and made the jump to light speed. The stars stretched into lines, and when they reformed, the convergence was before them, a vortex of energy and light, a nexus of past and future. As the ship approached the convergence, the Codex translator began to emit a low hum, the holographic map aligning with the real stars around them. A path opened, a corridor through the vortex, inviting them to step into the unknown. "This is it," Aiden said, his eyes reflecting the light of the convergence. "The future is ours to shape." With the Codex translator as their guide and the locket as their key, Aiden and his team entered the convergence, ready to embrace their roles as the Vanguard of destiny. The ship shuddered as they crossed the threshold of the convergence, reality bending and twisting around them. Time, it seemed, was fluid here, and they were the stones cast upon its waters, creating ripples that would spread far and wide. Kale's voice rose above the din. "The translator is interfacing directly with the convergence. It's accessing pathways through time and space we never thought possible." Aiden clutched the locket, feeling its vibration now in harmony with the convergence's frequency. The locket wasn't just a key or a beacon, it was a compass, guiding them through the myriad possibilities of what could come to pass. Lissa's eyes were closed, her mind a conduit for the energy swirling around them. "There are forces at work here beyond our comprehension. We need to trust in the flow of destiny." The ship sailed deeper into the heart of the convergence, the fabric of reality visibly warping outside the viewports. Starlight swirled into patterns of impossible geometry, a visual echo of the Codex's ancient knowledge. Rex stood firm, his usual bravado giving way to a solemn respect for the magnitude of their journey. "Whatever we find on the other side, we face it together, for all those who can't be here to witness the turning of the tide." The convergence's core was now in sight, a radiant nexus that pulsed like the heart of the universe itself. As they drew near, the Codex translator released a surge of energy, a beacon that resonated with the locket's glow. Aiden, with a nod to his crew, initiated the final approach. "For the past and the future, let's set the course right." The ship entered the convergence's heart, and a brilliant light enveloped them. For a moment there was the sense of infinite expansion, as if they were everywhere and everywhen all at once. And then, as quickly as it had begun, the sensation passed. The ship emerged on the other side of the convergence, into a part of space that was familiar yet unmistakably altered. They had arrived at a point where a new chapter of the galaxy's story would begin, their actions at the convergence the first words on its opening page. Aiden looked around at his crew, their faces a mix of relief and determination. The Codex's secrets and the convergence's power had brought them here, to the fulcrum of destiny. Now it was up to them to tip the balance. "Let's find out what future we've created," Aiden said, a smile creeping across his face. The journey through the convergence was over, but their adventure was far from finished. They had a galaxy to explore and a destiny to fulfill. With the Codex translator guiding them and the locket as their emblem, they set forth into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead as the Vanguard of destiny.